the first confrontation, the boy stood alone in the field, his eyes fixed on the massive alien spaceship hovering just above the ground. The night was quiet, almost eerily so, with only the soft rustling of the wind to break the silence. He clenched his fists, his heart pounding in his chest as he stared at the ship, a monstrous metal creature that had taken his brother. The ship that had stolen everything from him. His name was Alex, and tonight was the night he decided to fight back. For months, he had wondered if he could ever get his brother back, if he would ever have the courage to stand up to the aliens. Who had taken him? His brother, Ethan, had been trapped inside the engine of that very ship, and no one seemed to care. The authorities had abandoned him. No one else cared to try and rescue Ethan. But Alex wasn't like the rest. He wouldn't let his brother be forgotten. Alex picked up a small stone, the rough edges scraping against his palm. Without a second thought, he hurled it at the ship with all the strength he could muster. It bounced harmlessly off the ship's metallic surface, sending a small spark flying. But Alex wasn't deterred. He had no plan, no strategy, just the pure force of his frustration and anger. He picked up another rock and threw it again, the motion almost mechanical now. Another hit, another spark. The ship remained still, as if it hadn't even noticed. "Come on," Alex shouted, his voice full of rage and desperation. "Give him back." The ship didn't respond. It just hovered silently above the ground, an impenetrable fortress that seemed to mock his efforts. But Alex wouldn't stop. He wouldn't back down. He had to keep trying, even if it seemed pointless. He couldn't live with the thought that he had done nothing while Ethan suffered. The weight of his brother's silence crushed him every day, and Alex felt powerless. But tonight was different. Tonight, he would do whatever it took. He picked up another stone, his fingers trembling as he threw it. This time, he hit the ship's engine. There was a faint rumble as the stone connected, sending a strange vibration through the ground. Alex paused, a flicker of hope rising in his chest. Maybe this would get their attention. Maybe this time they would listen. But the ship remained motionless. No alien voice, no response. Only the cold, indifferent silence. Alex felt a knot form in his stomach, and for a brief moment, he wondered if this was all for nothing. Was this ship truly indestructible? Then, just as Alex reached down to grab yet another stone, a loud hum filled the air. The ground beneath him vibrated, and the ship's engines went to life. Alex stumbled back, his breath catching in his throat. Something was happening. The ship began to glow faintly, its engines emitting a soft, eerie light. Alex stood frozen, staring up at it, his heart pounding in his chest. Suddenly, a figure stepped out from the shadows. It was tall, with long limbs that moved with an unnatural grace. The alien approached Alex slowly, its footsteps silent despite the weight it carried. Alex could hardly believe what he was seeing. It was an alien, a being from another world, just like the ones he had seen in the news. The alien's eyes gleamed like twin pools of blackness, studying him with an expressionless gaze. It didn't speak at first, but Alex could feel the tension. In the air, thick and charged with energy. The boy's throat went dry as the alien stopped just a few feet away. He didn't know what to do. Was this it? Would the alien simply take him, like it had taken Ethan? Then, in a voice that was both mechanical and strangely human, the alien spoke. "Your actions are futile." Alex's heart skipped a beat. Futile. He wasn't here to waste time. He was here to save his brother. "You have my brother," Alex shouted, his voice raw with emotion. I want him back. The alien tilted its head slightly, as if it were studying Alex's words, processing them. Then, with a low hum, it raised a long thin arm and gestured toward the ship. He is not yours. To take back, he has been chosen for a purpose. Alex's chest tightened. Purpose. His mind raced as the alien's words sank in. Ethan wasn't just a prisoner. He was part of something bigger, something Alex couldn't yet understand, but that didn't matter to him. Ethan was his brother, and he wasn't going to leave him behind. I don't care what your purpose is, Alex yelled, his fists clenched. I'll do whatever it takes to get him back. The alien's expression remained unreadable, but Alex could see a flicker of something in its dark eyes. Amusement. Maybe it wasn't afraid of him. Why would it be? To the alien, Alex was nothing more than an insector, small, insignificant human. Then, to Alex's surprise, the alien stepped back and motioned to the spaceship. You are brave, the alien said, its voice echoing slightly in the night. But this battle is not one you can win. Alex felt his anger flare. He couldn't just walk away. He couldn't accept defeat. Ethan needed him. I'm not leaving until I get him back, Alex declared, taking a step forward, his jaw set with determination. The alien paused, its gaze studying Alex once more. Finally, it spoke again, but this time its words were laced with a hint of something Alex couldn't quite place. You will soon learn, young one, that there are forces in this universe far greater than your will to fight. With that, the alien turned and walked back toward the ship, leaving Alex standing alone in the field, his heart racing with adrenaline. Was this the beginning of something bigger, or was it the end of his mission? But one thing was certain, Alex was not going to give up. Not now, not ever. He would find a way to get his brother back, even if it meant going against forces beyond his control. Asterisk. The aliens challenged. The air around Alex seemed to thrum with energy as he watched the alien disappear into the spaceship. His chest tightened as he stood frozen in place, still grappling with the shock of the encounter. His mind raced, unable to fully process the words the alien had spoken. He has been chosen for a purpose, the alien had said. And those words haunted Alex's every thought. Was his brother really trapped in the ship for some unknown cosmic purpose? What did that even mean? The boy's feet felt like lead as he slowly approached the ship, which was now silently hovering a few feet above the ground. The spaceship gleamed in the dim light, its alien design even more menacing than before. No, he couldn't let fear stop him now. He had to save Ethan. Taking a deep breath, Alex lifted his hand and hesitantly touched the surface of the ship. The metal felt cold and smooth beneath his fingers, almost as if it was alive, pulsating with an energy that was both unfamiliar and overwhelming. As soon as he touched it, the ship shifted, its surface rippling slightly, as if acknowledging his presence. A mechanical voice echoed through the stillness. You should not be here. Alex spun around, his heart pounding. He was no longer alone. From the shadows stepped another alien, this one smaller and less imposing than the first. Its eyes gleamed with a strange intelligence, and its posture was rigid, as though it was prepared for something. Alex didn't back down. I'm here to get my brother back. I don't care what you're planning. I won't let you take him. The alien tilted its head, as if it was studying him with curious interest. Your brother is not who you think he is. The words hit Alex like a blow to the chest. He had spent so many sleepless nights imagining his brother trapped inside. That ship, but now the reality of it all felt too heavy to bear. What did the alien mean by that? What do you mean? Alex asked, his voice trembling but filled with anger. What have you done to him? The alien took a step closer, its movements slow and deliberate. It raised one thin hand, its long fingers glowing faintly. The human mind is fragile, it said, its voice cold and emotionless. Your species is not meant to be a part of what you are about to encounter, but your brother's fate is sealed. He is connected to the engine, a conduit for something far greater than your understanding. He cannot return. Alex's mind was reeling. A conduit. What did that mean? His brother wasn't just a prisoner. He was part of the ship's very engine. No, Alex shouted, stepping forward. He's my brother. You can't just use him like some kind of machine. The alien paused, a flicker of something akin to amusement crossing its features. Your emotions cloud your judgment, boy. Your attachment to him blinds you. This is not about you or him. This is about the balance of the universe. Your planet does not even comprehend the magnitude of what's coming. Alex stood there, speechless. The alien's words felt like a slap, a reminder that he was just a small part of something much bigger than himself. But he wouldn't accept it. He couldn't. I don't care about the universe, Alex muttered, a fire burning inside him. I care about Ethan. He's my family, and no matter what you say, I will fight for him. The alien watched him for a moment, its expression unreadable. Then you will have to face the consequences of your defiance. Before Alex could respond, the ship's engines roared to life again, and the ground beneath him began to shake. The alien turned back toward the ship, its footsteps silent as it ascended into the air. If you truly wish to stop us, you must prove yourself worthy. The ship will test you. Alex didn't hesitate. He sprinted toward the ship's entrance, his heart pounding with determination. He wasn't going to back down. The alien's words echoed in his mind, but he pushed them aside. Testing him, he would face whatever it took. If this was the price for saving his brother, then so be it. He would never give up on Ethan. As Alex reached the ship's entrance, the door slid open before him, revealing an entirely new world. Inside, the walls were alive, pulsing with a strange energy. The air was thick with the hum of the ship's systems, and the faint glow from the engine illuminated the corridors. The deeper he ventured, the more alien the surroundings became. This wasn't just a spaceship. It was a living entity, with its own pulse, its own heartbeat. He could feel it's the alien intelligence that controlled every inch of the ship. And somewhere inside, Ethan was waiting, trapped in the engine. Caught in the web of the ship's machinery. Suddenly, the walls around Alex shifted, and the corridor in front of him split into two paths. Each path led deeper into the heart of the ship, but one of them seemed wrong. A deep, unsettling darkness radiated from the left path. The right one was bathed in a faint golden light, like a beacon. Which path would lead him to his brother? Alex hesitated, his mind racing with the possibilities. The alien had warned him this was a test, and he knew, deep down, that the ship would not make it easy. Taking a deep breath, Alex chose the right path, the golden light drawing him in like a lifeline. With each step, the ship seemed to respond, its walls humming with energy, almost as if it were alive and aware of his presence. As Alex pressed forward, a voice filled the air around him. It was not the alien's voice, but something deeper, more ancient. Prove your worth, human. The trials of the ship Alex's footsteps echoed in the cold, metallic corridors of the ship. The faint golden light ahead seemed like a beacon, guiding him deeper into the belly of the alien vessel. He felt the walls pulse with an unfamiliar energy, almost like the ship was alive, watching him, testing him. He couldn't shake the eerie feeling that every decision, every step he took was part of a larger game, and in this game, his brother's life was the prize. The path ahead twisted and turned, and the further Alex went, the more he realized that the ship was unlike anything he had imagined. It wasn't just a vessel, it was a living, breathing entity with systems that seemed to respond to his every move. The air was thick with an electric charge, and the faint hum of the ship's energy reverberated through the floor beneath his feet. Suddenly, the golden light flickered, and the air around him shifted. Alex paused, his senses on high alert. Something was wrong. The walls began to ripple, and before he could react, the floor beneath him gave way. He fell through the darkness, the ship's walls closing in around him. He landed hard on the ground, but he was immediately on his feet, adrenaline pumping through his veins. The world around him was dark, the only source of light coming from the faint glow of the walls. In front of him, a large door slowly opened with a mechanical groan. Beyond it, Alex could see the faint outline of a figure. It wasn't human, at least, not in any way Alex recognized. The figure was tall, its body outlined in the dim light, its form shifting and changing as though it wasn't entirely solid. It moved toward him with unsettling fluidity, its eyes glowing like molten fire. "You have come far, human," the voice resonated in Alex's mind, deep and rich, as though it came from all around him. "But this is where your test truly begins." Alex stood tall, trying to steady his breathing. He couldn't let fear take over now. His brother was somewhere inside this ship. He had to stay focused, no matter what happened. The figure extended its arm, and the walls around Alex shifted, revealing a vast open chamber. In the center of the room was a large pedestal, and at its top rested a glowing orb, pulsing with an eerie light. The figure's voice spoke again, this time louder, more commanding. "If you wish to free your brother, you must first prove your strength." Before Alex could respond, the room began to shift again, and out of the shadows, humanoid figures emerged, each one more formidable than the last. They were cloaked in shadows, their features indistinguishable, but their presence was menacing. They moved toward Alex, their steps slow and deliberate. It was clear they were the ship's trial. Alex's heart raced. Was this it? Was this his final test? The first figure lunged at him, and Alex barely managed to dodge its strike, the force of the attack sending a shockwave through his body. These weren't just aliens, they were part of the ship itself, an extension of its will. Alex gritted his teeth, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He wasn't going to back down. He would fight for Ethan, for his family. As the next figure charged at him, Alex swung his arm out, knocking it back with all his strength. But the figure didn't fall. Instead, it seemed to absorb the hit and rise again. "Stronger, you must fight with your mind, not just your strength," the voice echoed in his mind again. "The ship tests not only your body, but your heart and soul." Alex's mind raced. It wasn't just about physical strength. The ship Marit wanted to test his resolve, his emotions, his ability to think beyond just fighting. He closed his eyes for a moment, focusing on his brother, Ethan. His face flashed in his mind, and Alex felt a surge of energy. This wasn't just about him anymore, it was about everything he loved, everything he had to protect. When Alex opened his eyes again, Everything around him seemed clearer. He wasn't just fighting these figures. He was fighting for something greater. He was fighting for his family, for his future, for his brother. The next figure lunged at him, but this time, Alex didn't rely on brute force. He sidestepped the attack and focused on the figure's movements. Using his instincts, he struck it in the weak spot, causing it to stumble back. The figure froze, its form flickering, before it dissolved into nothingness. Alex's heart raced, but he wasn't done yet. More figures emerged, but they didn't feel as overwhelming as before. With each strike, Alex grew more confident. He wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. He was fighting for something bigger than himself. The last figure, the largest one yet, stepped forward. It towered over Alex, its glowing eyes burning into him. Alex could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him. This was the final trial, and he had to win. The figure moved toward him, slower this time, almost as if it was testing his resolve. Alex took a deep breath, focusing all his energy on the task ahead. He wasn't just going to survive this, he was going to win. In a blur of motion, Alex dodged the figure's attack and, with a swift movement, struck it where he knew it would hurt the most. The figure froze for a moment, and then it shattered into light, vanishing into the air. Alex stood, panting in the aftermath, sweat dripping down his face. The room around him was silent now, the trial complete. The figure from before, the one who had spoken to him, reappeared. This time, its voice was different, almost, impressed. "You have proven your strength, human." The voice echoed in his mind. "You may proceed." The path ahead of Alex opened up, revealing a narrow corridor leading deeper into the ship. His brother was closer, now he could feel it. The test had been grueling, but it was only the beginning. There was more to come, and Alex knew he had to be ready for whatever the ship threw at him next. He walked forward, his resolve stronger than ever. He wasn't just fighting to save his brother. He was fighting for everything he believed in. And nothing was going to stop him. The heart of the ship. Alex's footsteps echoed in the narrow corridor, his breath coming in short, quick bursts. The weight of the trial still lingered in his muscles, but his determination pushed him forward. The alien ship, now more like a labyrinth than a vessel, seemed to change around him, its walls shifting and pulsating with an energy that was both alien and alive. The deeper he went, the more he felt as though the ship was watching him, testing him in ways he couldn't understand. He passed through dark hallways where the lights flickered like dying stars, and doors opened silently as if welcoming him to something greater. But the further he went, the more unsettled he became. The ship wasn't just a physical place, it was a living, breathing entity with a mind of its own. The cold, metallic smell of the ship filled the air as Alex rounded a corner, his hand resting lightly on the wall. The ship's heartbeat seemed to vibrate through his body, resonating in the deepest parts of his soul. It wasn't just a test anymore. The ship itself was beginning to feel like a challenger puzzle that had no answer. And then he reached it. A massive chamber opened before him, its walls lined with strange, glowing symbols. The air thick with an unearthly hum. In the center of the room stood a large, cylindrical structured engine. This was it, the source of everything that had brought him here. His brother was inside, trapped within this very machine. Alex could feel the energy coursing through the chamber, an almost tangible force that pushed against him, testing his resolve. The sight of the engine, the pulsing core that had taken his brother, filled him with a surge of emotions. Anger, fear, sadness, all of it collided in his chest. He stepped forward, But the moment his foot hit the ground, the chamber's lights dimmed, and a deep voice filled the room, not from anywhere specific, but from all around him, resonating in his mind. "You are not meant to be here." Alex's body stiffened, but he didn't stop. He had come this far. He wasn't leaving without Ethan. "You will fail." The voice was calm, almost soothing, but Alex could hear the underlying threat. He wasn't just up against the ship anymore. The ship was warning him, telling him that the stakes were higher than he realized. But Alex wasn't afraid. He couldn't be. The walls around him seemed to tighten, the symbols glowing brighter, pulsing with an eerie rhythm. The ship wasn't just watching him anymore, it was reacting to his presence. The game had changed. "Prove yourself, human," the voice echoed. Again, and before Alex could respond, the chamber began to shift. The walls parted, and a figure emerged from the shadows, tall, imposing, with eyes that glowed like molten metal. It was an alien, unlike any Alex had encountered so far. Its skin a smooth, reflective surface, with intricate markings running down its arms like veins. This alien wasn't here to speak. It was here to fight. Without warning, the figure lunged toward Alex, its movements swift and precise. Alex barely had time to react before the alien's hand struck him, sending him crashing into the ground. Pain exploded in his chest, but he didn't falter. This was part of the test. He had to push through it. As he scrambled to his feet, Alex's heart raced. The alien didn't seem to be attacking out of anger, it was methodical, like a hunter testing its prey. And Alex knew he had to outsmart it, not just overpower it. He couldn't afford to lose focus now. The alien moved again. Its hand aimed for Alex's neck, but this time Alex was ready. With a swift motion, he sidestepped, using the alien's momentum against it. He grabbed the creature's arm, twisting it with all the force he could muster. But the alien's strength was unbelievable. It was like fighting against steel. He couldn't win by brute force. He had to think smarter. The alien was strong, but it wasn't invincible. Alex remembered the last words of the ship. The tests were not just physical, they were about resolve, about willpower. It was a battle of wits. As the alien swung again, Alex ducked, using the creature's energy against it. He kicked it hard in the chest, sending the figure stumbling backward. For a moment, the alien hesitated, clearly surprised by the human's resilience. But Alex didn't stop. He knew this wasn't just about survival. It was about proving that humanity wouldn't back down. He wasn't going to let the ship win. He wasn't going to let them take his brother. With every move he made, Alex thought of Ethan, his brother, helpless and trapped inside the engine. He couldn't let him down. Not now. The alien advanced again, but this time Alex was quicker. He leaped forward, knocking the alien off balance and throwing it to the ground. As the figure struggled to rise, Alex saw the faintest glimmer of something in its eyes. Uncertainty. It wasn't used to humans fighting back like this. The test had shifted. The alien's voice rang out, its tone filled with both surprise and approval. "You are stronger than I thought, but this is not over." The ship's vibrations deepened, and the walls began to shift again, this time creating an impenetrable barrier between Alex and the alien. The creature, now on the ground, looked up at him with a final, piercing gaze. Then the chamber fell silent. Alex stood panting, sweat dripping from his forehead. This wasn't over, but he had proven something. He had passed the first real test, and now there was no turning back. Ahead of him, the engine pulsed ominously, and the faint sound of his brother's voice seemed to call out from inside. Ethan was close, and no matter what the ship threw at him, Alex would stop at nothing to bring him home. The heart of the engine, the chamber fell silent, save for Alex's labored breathing. Sweat dripped down his face as he stood in the aftermath of the battle, his body aching from the physical toll of the trial. The alien that had attacked him was now nothing more than a fading outline in the air, like a wisp of smoke slowly dissipating. But Alex didn't feel relief. There was no time to celebrate. His mind was still focused on one thing: Ethan. The alien had said something that stuck with him. "You were stronger than I thought. But this is not over." It was a reminder that the trials of the ship were far from finished. He had beaten one opponent, but the journey ahead was still perilous, and the ship's core where Ethan was trapped was still ahead, waiting for him. The walls of the chamber began to shift, the once glowing symbols dimming and flickering out. The ship seemed to react to his victory, as though it was acknowledging his persistence. It wasn't over, but the ship had given him a sign of respect. He had earned the right to go further, and with that, the path ahead opened. A long, narrow corridor stretched before him, darker now, but still pulsing with a faint, unsettling energy. The deeper he walked, the more the air around him thickened. The ship itself seemed to be breathing alive, in ways Alex couldn't quite comprehend. Each step felt heavier, as if the ship was aware of his presence, its very walls watching him, testing his resolve. Alex's heart raced. He was getting closer. The sound of his brother's voice echoed faintly in his mind. It was weak, strained, but it was still there. He wasn't giving up. Not yet. As he walked deeper, he saw strange machinery lining the walls, cogs, gears, and wires that seemed to hum with a life of their own. The deeper he ventured, the more the ship transformed. It wasn't just a vessel now. It was an organism, with parts of its body integrated into every room, every corridor. He could feel it in the air, this constant hum, this sense of something enormous at work. Then, the path opened into a massive, spherical chamber. The walls were lined with lights, dim, pulsating, almost organic in appearance. But at the center of the room stood the ship's engine, a swirling mass of light, energy, and metal. It looked alive. The light radiated from the center, bending and twisting like a living thing, as though the engine itself was the heart of the ship, and within it, Ethan. Alex's eyes widened as he saw his brother suspended within the heart of the engine. Ethan's body was encased in a transparent chamber, tubes and wires wrapped around him, connecting him to the swirling mass of energy. His brother's eyes were closed, and his breathing was shallow, almost imperceptible. Alex could see the faintest flicker of life in him, but he was trapped helpless, his body bound by the ship's machinery. Alex's heart clenched. Ethan was alive, but just barely. Without thinking, Alex stepped forward, his mind locked on the goal. He didn't hesitate. He would get Ethan out of there. As Alex approached the engine, the ship reacted violently. The lights in the chamber flared, and the air grew cold, the hum intensifying. It was like the ship knew what he was trying to do, and it wasn't going to let him do it easily. Suddenly, a blast of energy shot out from the core, sending Alex crashing against the wall. His body slammed into the cold metal, the pain searing through him. He groaned but pushed himself to his feet. The ship was fighting back. It was testing him again. A voice echoed through the chamber, a familiar, cold presence, the alien that had spoken to him before. The one who had been watching materialized in front of Alex once more. "You cannot free him." The alien's voice was calm, almost detached, as if it was simply stating a fact. Your brother is integral to this ship's purpose. To take him would be to destroy what is greater than you understand. Alex gritted his teeth, determination flaring in his chest. I don't care what you think. He's my brother, and I will save him. The alien stepped forward, its long fingers raised toward the engine. You do not know what you are dealing with. This is beyond you. The engine is the heart of the ship, and your brother has been chosen to power it. He is essential. To free him is to kill him. You will doom both yourself and him. Alex's mind raced. He had no choice. The alien was right about one thing. If he didn't act soon, Ethan would die, trapped in that machine, a tool for the ship's unknown purpose. But Alex wouldn't let that happen. He would rather face death himself than leave his brother in that hell. The alien smirked, sensing Alex's resolve. Very well, prove your strength, human. In an instant, the chamber erupted with energy. The walls began to twist, shifting into a maze of obstacles, glowing barriers appearing between Alex and the engine. The air was filled with sharp crackling sounds, and the ground beneath him trembled. It was as if the ship was testing him, forcing him to navigate its traps to reach his brother. Alex felt the full weight of the challenge, but he wasn't afraid. This wasn't just about survival anymore. This was for Ethan, for the family they once were. He had no choice but to push forward. There was nothing else left, as he maneuvered through the traps, avoiding bursts of energy and strange mechanical limbs that seemed to appear from nowhere. Alex's mind focused only on one thing: getting to Ethan. The challenges were growing more intense, the obstacles more dangerous. But Alex was relentless. His determination pushed him forward, through the pain, through the danger, and toward his brother. He wasn't going to stop. Not until Ethan was free. The choice of sacrifice Alex's heart was hammering in his chest as he navigated the ever-shifting maze of the ship's heart. The walls around him continued to pulse with an eerie energy, shifting and changing, as though the ship itself was alive, aware of his every move. The strange limbs and barriers continued to spring up in his path, attacking him with precision, but Alex's resolve was stronger than ever. He would not stop until Ethan was free. The air grew thicker with every step. The ship wasn't just a test anymore, it was a battle of wills. Alex could feel the pressure of its consciousness, like it was trying to crush him, to make him doubt his purpose. But each time the ship attacked, Alex only became more determined. His hands shook with exhaustion, but his mind was clear. This was the final stretch. As Alex drew closer to the engine, the light from the core seemed to draw him in like a magnet. Ethan's faint, labored breaths echoed in his mind, a constant reminder of why he was doing this. His brother, trapped inside that pulsating engine, was counting on him. Every obstacle, every attack, every trap the ship threw at him only fueled his anger and desperation. Suddenly, the path ahead opened, revealing a large platform suspended above the engine. Ethan was still inside, surrounded by twisting wires and glowing energy. The closer Alex got, the more he could feel the force of the ship's energy. It was like a pressure on his chest, making it harder to breathe, harder to think. The ship was resisting him, pushing back against his every step. Alex took a deep breath and stepped onto the platform, feeling the energy radiating from the ship's core. His pulse quickened and his muscles tensed as he reached for the console, beside the engine. This was it. One wrong move, and everything would be lost. But he didn't hesitate. He had come too far. As his fingers brushed the console's surface, a sharp electric shock coursed through his body. His entire body spasmed, and he fell to his knees, gasping for breath. The ship's energy surged, and the walls around him closed in, trapping him in a force field that buzzed with power. A voice, calm and unyielding, filled the chamber. "You cannot stop this. He is the heart of the ship now. To free him is to destroy everything." The words echoed through Alex's mind, the weight of them almost unbearable. Was this true? Was freeing Ethan going to kill him? No, Alex shouted, gritting his teeth. He couldn't give up now. His brother was still alive, and that was all that mattered. "I won't leave him here." The voice responded, colder this time. "You have been warned. The sacrifice must be made." Suddenly, the walls began to pulse more intensely, and Alex felt a powerful pull toward the engine. The ship was trying to drag him into its core, to turn him into part of its living system. This was the ship's final test, the ultimate choice. The voice spoke again, and Alex realized that it wasn't just an obstacle anymore. It was a part of the ship's consciousness, trying to force him into submission. "Your actions are futile. The engine needs its power source. To take him will cause a chain reaction, one that will destroy you both." The voice became more distant, but its words carried an undeniable finality. "There is no other way." Alex looked at Ethan, whose body was still trapped in the pulsating energy field, his chest rising and falling in slow, shallow breaths. He could see his brother's face, now pale and gaunt, his eyes closed in a silent plea. This was it. Ethan had become a part of the ship, a piece of its core. The weight of the decision hit Alex harder than any physical blow. If he freed Ethan, would he be killing him? Was the price of saving his brother truly this high? A cold shiver ran down Alex's spine. He had come all this way forward, through every trial, every challenge. And now, the ship was asking him to make the ultimate sacrifice. Would he give up everything to save his brother? Or was there a way to defeat the ship without killing Ethan? Desperation clouded his thoughts. Alex's mind raced, trying to find a way to undo the damage, to save Ethan without destroying him. Was there another way? As if in response, the energy field around Ethan's body flickered, and for a brief moment, Alex saw his brother's eyes open. They were dim, but they locked onto Alex's with an unmistakable recognition. Ethan's lips parted, and he whispered weakly, "Don't do it, Alex. Don't let it end like this." The words cut through Alex like a blade. Ethan knew, he understood. His brother was already a part of the ship. He had become a source of its power. But was there any hope left for him? Alex stood up, his hands shaking. The choice was clear. He had come for Ethan, and he wasn't going to leave without him. But what did that mean for them both? Could he free his brother without destroying him? Or was the sacrifice too great? As Alex reached out once more to the console, the ship responded. By tightening its grip, it wasn't going to make it easy. The walls closed in, and the final trial began to reveal its true cost. With a deep breath, Alex made his decision. He would fight the ship with everything he had. He couldn't leave without his brother, and he would not let the ship decide their fate. As his hand hovered over the control panel, a sudden, blinding light filled the room. The ship's energy surged, and Alex braced himself for whatever came next. The final sacrifice. The room pulsed with light as Alex stood at the heart of the ship, the final decision weighing heavily on him. The air around him crackled with the raw energy of the alien ship, and the ship's presence felt more intense than ever before. This was it. the point of no return. He had tried everything he could, fighting through the ship's trials, battling the alien entities, and pushing his body and mind to their limits. But now, standing before the engine, he realized the truth. Ethan was not just trapped inside the engine, he had become part of it, a part of the ship's energy source, the very thing that made it function. Alex's heart raced as he watched his brother's faint form flickering in the center of the engine. Ethan's once bright eyes were now dim, his body tangled in glowing wires and tubes, each one feeding into the heart of the ship. The energy field surrounding him pulsed with an eerie rhythm, the same rhythm that seemed to control the ship, its will pressing down on Alex's every move. This wasn't just about freeing his brother. Alex realized that to free Ethan, he might have to sacrifice everything. The alien voice echoed in his mind once again, its words cold and final. There is no escaping this, human. Your brother is a part of the ship now. Without him, this ship dies. You cannot take him back without facing the consequences. Alex felt his knees buckle, but he didn't fall. The weight of the alien's words was crushing, but in his heart, he knew what he had to do. He had promised Ethan that he wouldn't give up, that he would always fight for him. But what was left to fight for now? Suddenly, the ship seemed to tremble beneath his feet, and the lights flickered. A terrible, all-encompassing hum filled the room, and the glowing walls shifted, trapping Alex in a force field. His body was lifted off the ground, and he found himself pulled toward the center of the engine, the ship's energy reaching for him like a hungry beast. No. Alex shouted, struggling against the force, but the ship's grip tightened. This was the ship's final test. It was asking him to make the ultimate sacrifice, to join the ship in place of Ethan, to become part of its heart and energy. The voice of the alien echoed again, this time with a finality that made Alex's blood run cold. This is your choice, human. You either join us and ensure your brother's survival, or you both perish. The engine requires 2 lives, not just one. For a moment, everything went silent. Alex's mind spun as he struggled to process what the alien had just said. 2 lives. If he joined the ship, if he became part of it, maybe Ethan could survive. But was that what Ethan would want? To live in a cage of energy and machinery for the rest of his life? Alex's heart pounded as the realization hit him. He had to make the choice for both of them. He took a deep breath, his hands trembling as he reached out to the glowing energy field around the engine. His fingers brushed against it, and a surge of power shot through his body as though the ship was testing him once again. The walls around him closed in, but in that moment, Alex understood. He wasn't just fighting to free his brother, he was fighting for their future. With a surge of strength, Alex pressed his hand fully against the energy field. The ship shuddered, the hum increasing in intensity, and a wave of light surged from the engine, enveloping him. For a moment, it felt as if he was one with the ship, as though his very essence was becoming part of the machine. But something changed. Instead of merging with the ship, Alex felt the power flow through him, not to consume him, but to empower him. This wasn't about becoming part of the ship, it was about taking back control. The alien's voice flickered, losing its composure. You are not meant to do this. But Alex didn't listen. With every ounce of his willpower, he willed the energy to bend to his command. The walls around him cracked and twisted, the ship's systems groaning in protest. He wasn't going to let his brother die, not like this. The energy around the engine flickered violently, and for the first time, the ship seemed to falter. Alex's vision blurred with a white-hot light, But he didn't back down. This was it. He was fighting not just for Ethan, but for both of them. With one final push, Alex focused every bit of his energy on the center of the engine, the light. Around him surged, blinding him for a moment, but when it cleared, he could see Ethan, his brother, free, falling slowly from the energy field, now separated from the ship's control. Ethan's eyes fluttered open, weak but alive. "Alex," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Alex rushed to his brother, catching him before he fell. The pain of the trials, the weight of the ship's power, still lingered in his limbs, but the relief of seeing his brother awake, alive, in his arms, made everything else fade away. They were free, but the ship wasn't done. It roared in anger, shaking violently as its systems began to shut down. Alex didn't wait. He pulled Ethan close, and together they raced toward the ship's exit. The engine, the heart of the ship, was collapsing. The ship was dying, and everything around them was coming undone as they reached the final door. The ship's core erupted with an explosive burst of energy. The explosion was deafening, but Alex didn't look back. He had saved his brother, and nothing else mattered. They ran through the final threshold, and in that instant the explosion behind them lit up the sky. The alien ship was no more. But as the dust settled, Alex couldn't help but wonder what would come next. Their journey had only just begun, and the universe held more secrets than they could ever imagine.